I was involved briefly with a married man who believed he had the courage to leave his wife to be with me and to live his truth. This isn't the typical story of a married man promising to leave his wife for a secret lover. Rather, this is a story in part about a gay man who knew he was gay before he got married, but chose to marry a woman because he didn't know how to break free. Rocky and I met on a gay social media site 3 months after I returned to the East Coast to live, and just 11 months after he was married. At the time we met, he was living and working in Dubai as a contractor for the government on a military base, while his wife was stationed in Tallahassee, Florida, where they had a home. In one of the first messages he sent me, Rocky shared that he was married, but that he had regrets. He explained that he had come out to his mother and siblings when he was 18 years old. He sat there. To listen to more of One Thing for Certain, Two Things for Sure, a memoir continued, visit audible.com. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow, because we discuss socially relevant things mixed with a splash of humor. If you know you have tissue paper feelings, this probably isn't the channel for you. However, since you're here, I just need for you to do 2 things. Hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and turn on that little bell so that you get the notification every single time that I go live or upload something new. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey girl, hey. Hey boy, hey.
What's going on, guys?
Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart. Oh, my hat is crooked.
And I'm Carlton. Sorry, guys, my hair is looking a little bit of a mess. It's been a chill day today. It's been a long week, long weekend. So today was my off day.
And he laid around all day and did nothing. But that's a good thing. Sometimes it's good to do nothing. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig the Writer Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. Pardon me. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. So last night was the premiere of Table Wars on HGTV. Of course, Carlton made his debut. Those of you that have been following me for some time now, you guys know that when I celebrated my birthday back in May, and I did a Patreon for you guys, and I was out in Arizona. I remember he did the violin. He sent the violin player, and he had the chef prepare a brunch for me and my friend Kim for my birthday. He was actually in New York at that time filming Table Wars. And so a lot of you kept asking me, well, why aren't you together on your birthday? Why isn't he there? This, that, and the other. So that was the reason. So at any rate, we did a premiere yesterday. He did a premiere. He hosted a premiere yesterday at a movie theater here in Atlanta. It's called Cine Bistro. For those of you who don't know, you get to order food, you get to order cocktails, and they bring it all out to you. And so we streamed the show in the movie theater. And so he invited friends and family, his friends and family, to the movie theater last night, and we watched it in the theater. And so if you're on my Patreon, you saw that I posted those videos today. He did a Q&A.
Did you post my Cash App on here?
No. Did he really just interrupt me? Before we get into the Q&A, though, I wanted to let you guys know that that Goalie Gummies, they have new flavors. These are actually chocolate mini bites, and they are actually really good. And you know, if I don't really like it, I'm not going to tell y'all. So Carlton hasn't tasted them yet, so I wanted him to taste it. Now, I'm not going to tell y'all my favorite ones just yet. I'm going to let him taste them first and see what he says. But if you go over to goalies.com and use promo code Craig the Writer Stewart, they got a really good special going on right now. I think you buy 3 and you get a bottle free or something like that, but you still get your 15% off, and the shipping is still free. So I want you to try the one in the green bottle is the benefits in every bite. So it's just the overall health, right? So taste this. I'm gonna put it in your mouth because you over here rubbing on copper, and we don't play that over here.
He ain't dirty.
That's that white people shit. See.
guinea pig, I suppose.
I tried them already. You don't like that one? What does it taste like?
It's not something I would look forward to eating.
All right, we'll try this one.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Is that all out of your mouth?
No.
You need some water.
Come on now. They want to hear
you need
about
a
the
swallow
show,
of water.
Goalies. No, it's not for me.
Now this one is my favorite, and I don't even like sweets. This one is my favorite one. The calm.
It's for somebody.
This the ashwagandha one. That one's good to me. I mean, both of them are good, but this is my favorite one. But anyway,
maybe they're too sweet.
Well, some of them like sweet stuff.
Man, if I said it for somebody,
they got sweet tea. All right. So I knew about the show as it was happening, and he was complaining about his partner in the show. So I already knew. You can't be reading the comments and trying to have the conversation. Keon, get off of me. But he was complaining to me the whole time about his partner on the show. And so I knew she was going to be the first one to go home, because when it happened, we, of course, were talking about it. And then...
Well, legally, no, you didn't know.
Well, would you get off of me humping? No, move, off. So... And he told me about the tree that was falling over and all of that kind of stuff. So
babe, that's way.
Oh well. All right. Well, go ahead.
See, this is why you can't have some people talk about stuff. They have HGTV calling me.
Okay, go ahead.
What am I talking about?
So, what was your experience like? Did you enjoy it? Would you do it again?
Well, I'm just gonna. I can only talk about episode 1. But you know, over.
No.
I don't know what his deal is right now. Sit. No. Sorry guys. But no, episode 1, I think for me was just, it was definitely more like, for me, it was more of like a culture shock, just because, you know, there was no training. There was no, like, you really, I guess, can't ever really warn somebody about being in front of a camera. I think it's something you just have to feel out on your own. And so for me, it was just a lot of things, happening at once, you know, trying to adjust to the camera, trying to figure out a design, trying to discuss my design under pressure. So there's, so it was definitely a whirlwind of feelings for me, but I think I love the thrill of it for sure. You know, would I do it again? I would definitely love to do something similar. You know, would I do another competition show? I don't know. You know, I guess it would depend on what the prize money would be. But I definitely enjoyed it. I learned a lot. Just in the first episode, I learned a lot about myself too, like what I'm capable of. So yeah.
But here's what I will say: when he first told me about the show, they actually approached him. They found him on social media. He didn't apply for the show. They found him, and he applied on social media, right? So by the time he and I started going out, he had already signed a contract. But then the show had gotten pushed because of COVID, right? And so they weren't going to start filming until the time that he and I met and we knew each other and we were dating or whatever. And so,
because we were supposed to film originally last May.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the May before last. May of 2020.
Yeah.
So what happened was, when I found out about the show, which was earlier this year, he was telling me about the contract, and you know, I looked over the contract and was like, so we actually got into a whole argument. We had gotten into a huge argument about the contract, because there were things that I felt like should have been changed. And so even though he eventually saw my way and he went on and reached out to them, and he had this whole list of things that he wanted to change.
I don't think that's a whole list, but
you changed some stuff. But the reason that I'm bringing that up is, we had gotten into this whole debate about it, and he was just like, well, I don't want to, it's like, you just don't want me to do the show. And I was like, it's not that I don't want you to do the show, but I just came off this reality show where we had to do contracts too. And my contract wasn't right. And I kept fighting with them. I said, and you don't want to get yourself locked into something. This is before we knew Martha Stewart was going to be involved.
This was before we knew Tamara Mowry was going to be involved. So all we knew was there's a production company. And I was just like, people sign these contracts all the time, and then they end up in some old dumb shit. So anyway, and I kept saying, you need to get your attorney to look at it, you know, and I kept saying his cousin is an attorney. So I don't know if he ever ended up getting her to look at it. But anyway, so that was my intro to him doing this show. And so then when he finally got solidified, because I mean, it was a lot of stuff, because it was just like, I was like, well, how they flying you? How you got to get to New York? Do you have to drive there? Do you got to get your own plane ticket? Like, they didn't give him a lot of details at all. And so,
well, that contract wasn't with HGTV. That was with the casting.
That was with the casting, right? And I was like, you could be locking.
And so the only thing that was, you know, changed, it was just basically trying to just like lock you in, you know, just to say like, hey, you're coming on the show for the most part. That's what it was.
And then, but he was gonna be leaving work for like 2 months or 6 weeks.
2 weeks, like a month and a half.
A month and 6 weeks. And so I was like, you can't be going up there and you don't know how much they paying you yet. Like, all that shit was too loose for me. And so finally, as they got closer, they gave more details. So I say all this to say, he took a chance, he took a risk, and it worked out.
And now look at me, I'm famous.
That's a strong word. But anyway, you get one TV show and then you're famous. But stop it. So, okay, so you went up there. So, tell them about the whole process. Like, he had to be sequestered into a hotel room.
Yeah.
The first, 14 days?
So, we flew there. We landed. I flew into New York. We had to take an Uber up to White Plains, New York. And that was like, I don't know, an hour and 15-minute ride, something like that. And we were allowed out the first day we got there. After that, we had to be like on complete lockdown. So I got to the hotel like maybe around 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I was like, today's our only day out. I need groceries. So I can't remember the name of the hotel we were at. But, you know, I had a kitchen and it was like a little suite. So I was like, I need groceries because I'm not going to be ordering out every single day. So I got to take another Uber, and trying to get an Uber in White Plains, New York during COVID is not easy. It took almost an hour for the Uber to get there.
So they did give them time to, you know, once they checked in, they did give them time to go to the grocery store, because once they got there,
I had an hour and a half.
They gave him a certain time frame because they wanted them to be in the hotel and sequestered, because they didn't want anybody to get COVID. So like, once he got his groceries and he got back to that hotel, he was in his room for.
Can I say?
Go ahead.
Anyways, so I literally, by the time I got my luggage up to the hotel room, I had about an hour and a half to get groceries. So I got my groceries, got back, tried to get some liquor. That didn't happen. But anyways, got back to the hotel room, and that was it. We were to be locked down for, 2 weeks? 2 weeks, I think, in the hotel room. And eventually we were able to venture out. Maybe, I wouldn't say after the first week, they said we were allowed out for 1 hour of fresh air. So yeah, it almost kind of felt like prison, but I kept myself busy.
Can you imagine being in a hotel room for 14 days and you can't leave? You can't even go down to the lobby.
No.
They were like, do not leave the room at all, because you will be disqualified. You'll be sent home.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, you know, they threatened with that, but they allowed us out for an hour. And
but that was after like a week or 10 days or something.
That was after a week we were allowed out. Then they even told us we were allowed to go to the gym, but that got nixed. So I ended up like doing workouts in the hotel room daily. I binge watched a lot. And then at some point, you know, they kind of gave us like little projects to work on for the show. So definitely kept busy, but it was tough getting, you know, being by yourself for 2 weeks. You only can do so much with FaceTime. But after that, you know, they drove us up to set the first day of shooting. And then it was like maybe about a 40-minute ride to where to the location we were shooting. We actually shot across the street from Martha Stewart's house, like the venue. Like, so when you guys watched it, that tent that you saw, it's like a little amphitheater kind of a place. But Martha Stewart literally lives like less than a mile away from there. So that was pretty cool. We saw her house every day. She actually rode her bike to set sometimes.
That's when you know you're rich and you just got money. She riding her bike to the set.
But the first day we got there, we had to read a lot of legal documents. That took about an hour and a half. Then we, did hair and makeup, walked onto set, and you had all these cameras. Then there was Tamara, then there was Martha, then Chris, and it was like so many things were happening so fast. And next thing, I knew they said, "All right, your time starts now," and it was just like off to the races. And to be honest, I think that first challenge for me, I really didn't know what I was doing because it was hard for me to like. Then it was about like showing who you were, and I was like, well, what does that look like visually, like on a table, right? So, I just kind of just saw the colors I liked, saw some of the things in the home goods section, and I said, I like these. I'll kind of just make a collage out of it, and so I expressed myself the best way I could. But yeah, that's like the initiation of me getting onto the show. What?
Nothing. Go ahead. You said let you tell the story. Go ahead. They telling me to be quiet. You tell the story. Go ahead.
Well, you're supposed to be asking questions in this interview.
Well, when I was trying to ask questions,
you weren't asking. You were telling.
But I was trying to shape the story.
You were telling.
I'm a storyteller.
Wasn't you telling the story, not asking questions?
Okay, so Martha Stewart rode her bike to set because she lived right nearby. But she also brought y'all like treats and stuff. She would do little things.
Not us. She brought like people on set.
She would bring people on set stuff. But then she gave you dog treats for Copper.
Yes, she did bring dog treats for Copper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not for Copper, but she has a line of dog treats. So she, I guess we didn't have a dog. We just had dog treats sitting around now. But yeah, that was very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to taste her CBD line as well. Those gummies are gone.
Mm-hmm. We ate those. But okay, so like when you were there, like he would call me and be like, I just don't know if I want to do this anymore. Like it's just getting hard, and and he'd be all stressed out. And I'm like, well,
you have to be mindful that you can't say anything that references towards the future.
I didn't say anything.
I know, but I'm just telling you can't ask questions that would lead to that.
I've done a reality TV show before.
Right. You haven't done a competition.
But yeah, so he would call and he'd be stressed out about different things that were happening on the show, and and
no, I mean it was definitely tough. Just even in that first week, which was the first episode, I think that first episode was a matter of 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
That we did. I think it was 3 days.
Genevieve was my favorite because Carlton was there for his birthday too. My birthday is May 4th. His is May 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
And so for his birthday, what did she do? Genevieve is the one that was pregnant. The one that was pregnant on the show. She's already had the baby, of course, by now.
But yeah, for my birthday, she got me a birthday brunch. Yeah, so that was really sweet. So she had brought the champagne and the orange juice and a whole little brunch. And ironically, when I said like we were in tune, like we just like connected, we kind of got each other. And so she was like, I just figured you would really like crab cake Benedicts, and that's actually one of my favorite meals. So yeah, she was very sweet. Mm-hmm. And so in a little bit of what I found very fascinating with being on the show with all 8 of us, or 7 of us, all 8 of us, was that in a little bit of time, we all became really close. I guess we really didn't have an option to, but we all became like family. So that part I got really excited about because we were all like, as soon as this is over, because we couldn't talk to each other really until the show aired. But I was, we all were talking about how we're going to call each other, we're going to visit each other, like if we're in each other's cities. So that was really cool. I think if anything, that was probably one of the biggest pluses of being on the show, was just getting this extended family and they're all amazing people, all amazing creators and designers. So,
but Genevieve, again, she's the pregnant one. Somebody is asking which one was Genevieve. But the reason why I liked her too is because you got to remember they were all sequestered to their own individual rooms in this hotel. So even though they were all staying in the same hotel, he didn't know which room she was in. Nobody knew which room anybody was in. You didn't even know which floor anybody was on.
No.
So
sometimes we guessed because we were
sometimes they would guess, but they didn't know which room they were on. So the fact that she sent him a birthday brunch, first of all, she had only known him for a couple of weeks, and then she went through the planning of figuring out what he would like, She had the champagne and she had it delivered to his room. It wasn't like she came and knocked on the door. She had it sent to his room. So I just thought that was really, really sweet. And that was really telling about her personality. And then I remember him mentioning Yaz. That's the sister. She's Hispanic.
She's Hispanic. She's Puerto Rican. She's Puerto Rican. She's Hispanic, but they got along really well as well. I got along with everybody on the show. Yeah.
So now, ever since the show aired, you guys can ask your questions in here, and I'll ask them.
And if you don't know, because I see people are a little lost, the show airs on HGTV. It premieres every Sunday at 8 p.m. But if you have Discovery Plus, you can stream it now right there. So
somebody said
that's how you can find it.
I like Genevieve. I was worried about her being pregnant, doing all of that.
Oh, yeah, she was worried too, but yeah, she did really good. Her doctor approved.
Right.
Obviously.
So they said Yaz was Dominican and Puerto Rican. That's what it was. I knew it was two different cultures. So what was it like when you? Well, tell them about Wilfredo. Wilfredo was really nice too. He would tell me different stories about Wilfredo. Didn't he do something for your birthday? He sent you a little.
He sent all of us.
He sent all the competitors flowers. Yeah. He sent all of the competitors flowers, which I thought was really, really genuine and sweet of him to do that.
Which was funny because I received his flowers before Craig's flowers for my birthday, and so I was like, "Oh, look at the flowers I got."
He thought that I had sent those flowers, but my flowers came later.
Yeah.
But the thing about Wilfredo too was he was dressed in designer everything. You can say that.
Yeah, it's very apparent in the in the show. He was dressed to the nines, and I definitely commend him for that.
How many luggage? How many suitcases did he have?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember how many.
He had so many suitcases that he had to have an assistant come and pack his stuff.
I'm not on here to spill tea and dirt. That's not my nature.
He had a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, go ahead. So somebody said, did you get to choose your partner? No, that was shown on the show last night.
Yep, Genevieve. Because she won the mini challenge, got to pick the partners. So,
how long did you spend working on your tables per day?
It really depended on the challenge. So, like the first one, I believe we only got 2 hours to do that, to do the miniscape, and then the team challenge. I think that was broken up in like 2 days. So I think maybe we had a total of 10 hours, I want to say.
Was your partner very arrogant off camera? They talk about Cece.
I got to tread lightly here. Was she what?
Was she arrogant off camera?
Was she arrogant? No, Cece, she was sweet. I will say that, despite I think kind of how the show portrayed her, even though I think they portrayed everyone fairly. She's definitely sweet. She has a big heart, but she just has a big personality to go along with that.
How many days did it take to film one episode?
Each episode is about 3 days.
So then Sean Yarborough said, but we are allowed to drag CC since she's already been kicked off. Episode 1. Just asking for myself and everybody in the chat.
You guys are ruthless.
I don't know if you want me to say that, so I ain't gonna say that. The reason why he said he got to tread lightly.
Oh.
Let me see. They say Wilfredo got coins.
Yes, Wilfredo does very well for himself. He's an interior designer in Florida, in Naples, Florida. Yes, and his designs are pretty phenomenal. So if you need an interior designer, if you got the money, I would say that's the guy to go.
Somebody said, fuck CC. And then somebody said, did you guys think about that?
You guys got me in trouble.
Did you guys think about that picture, that the picture frames would cut off the people on the other side of the table?
Did I think the picture frames were?
Did y'all think about that?
Well, originally with that design, my original idea of it wasn't necessarily to obscure the view across the table, because I, at the end of the day, imagine them being a little bit more open. Like the frames themselves, but they were only maybe 4 or 5 inches thick. So, and then with the little mini parts, you could still see through. But And that's what I was responsible for. But then, you know, there came this large floral arrangement that was put into the larger frame that just kind of grew, which I think looked beautiful, but then it kind of just grew to be this huge statement piece, and it was just a little overwhelming in regards to, you know, composition and being a functional table.
What was going through your head when that flatware was placed the wrong way?
Oh, on the mini challenge? I did not really care. I didn't really think too much of it. You know, at the end of the day, I know that they have to nitpick at certain things, and that was just mine, and they just made a to-do of it. But, and if you heard me, if you listen carefully, when he said it was the wrong way, I was like, well, it's right on this side. But, you know, when you're rushing and trying to do everything, some things go amiss. But it is a competition, and so that was a lesson learned to make sure that for the next one, all my flatware was placed correctly.
What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself and your work through this experience?
That I learned about myself and my worth.
And your work.
Oh, what I learned about my work.
What's the biggest thing? What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself and your work?
Yeah,
through this experience.
In regards to like what I learned about myself is that that I am able to stay focused with all the pressure and the chaos that's happening around me. That I was really impressed with, because like when they said go, I was like, Lord, I don't know if I'll be able to finish on time. I don't know what I'm going to be able to churn out. And you know, you really have to like think quick on your feet. And this, I think, was my first time in my life that I really had to design like off the cuff. And so I think I was a little scared about that, because it's, you know, trying to, as any creative knows, like just trying to pull out something like quick, it's not easy. At least for me, it's not easy. Like I'm definitely one of those people who needs to draw it 3 or 4 times to kind of get the idea out and tweak that, but there was no time for that. You literally had to design on the fly. And to be honest, designing on, you know, I actually think I designed better designing on the fly and under the pressure than, you know, sitting there thinking about it ahead of time. So that's one of the things I was surprised that I was able to do.
Did you have to do prep work or homework off camera?
There was a little homework off camera.
And before you went up there?
Yeah, so, you know, they don't necessarily tell you what the challenges are ahead of time, but they kind of hint towards things, so you will have an idea of what's coming, but you don't know when it's coming. So that's kind of how they trip you up. And there's always twists and turns along the way, so.
Do you think they were nitpicking about the knife being backwards, or would you have made the correction if you were a judge?
I don't want to say I think it was, I don't want to say it was nitpicking, but then again, it's a tablescape competition, so it was a fair thing to judge on. You know, so, you know, I think there was a pass on the first one, and definitely there was other people who made the same mistake. But I just got called out for it. So
I'm laughing at this next question. Who told Tamara's sister ass she qualified to judge table decor? I'll wait. C8701. Oh god,
that's above my pay rate.
Oh my god.
But she was a judge, but she was more so the host. So. But yeah.
Let me see. Did you learn any opportunities about yourself during? Did you learn any opportunities about yourself during this process?
Someone said, "Has your price now gone up?"
Let me see.
It may. It probably will.
Are we going to do this every week? I know I'm late, Craig. I'm asking Carlton. Laughing out loud.
Are we going to do this every week? I wouldn't mind doing this every week.
But we need to do it on Sunday night after the show. So we would need to. What show come on at 8?
Yeah.
So we need to do it on Sundays at 9.
Probably like 9 or 9:30.
Right.
Yeah.
It ain't coming on Thanksgiving weekend, is it?
I think so.
And that might be a little sketchy that Sunday. Yeah, we answered that, Felicia. Did the show reach out to you? How did you get selected? Yeah, they found him on social media.
Yeah, they found me through social media and then sent me an email. And then I replied, and one email led to more, and then led to interviews, and led to me being on the show.
Carlton, when are you starting your own YouTube channel?
I don't think anytime soon. I don't think YouTube channels are my calling. I'll just piggyback off this one for now, and make sure that my Cash Apps are posted.
Let me see. Where can we see it? The show comes on Sundays on HGTV or Discovery Plus. It comes on Sundays at 8 p.m.
7 Central Time.
Right. Okay, so there are no more questions in the chat. Anything else you want to tell them about the show?
About the show? I think we kind of covered a lot of it.
Here's the correct question. Go ahead.
Do I prefer, someone just asked, do I prefer event design over set design? I like them both equally, especially if my skill set and set design can cross over. So anytime there's an event where I can do like custom builds, when it comes like walls or installations, that part of it I love. I can honestly say like tablescaping though, for me, I don't know if it's for me. I don't know. I definitely don't want to make a career out of that. I can do it, but I'm really hoping that this show is a platform to just getting to the next level in my career, but not necessarily, you know, a career in tablescaping.
So somebody said, how did Nan and your mom react? Did they watch it? Yes, they were at the premiere yesterday. They're on the Patreon. Nan cussing up as usual. Nan, what was Nan saying? Nan was just go on the Patreon.
She always cuts up.
Stacy, when did he say that? He did say that. Stacy said, I heard Carlton say Martha was complimenting his physique a lot. Did you say that on the Patreon?
I didn't say a lot. I just said there was a moment
where she complimented him and his legs and his physique.
Oh, there was. You didn't necessarily see it, but it was. They didn't show it on camera, thank God. But you'll see during the team challenge that first day, I was wearing shorts. And so it was a big thing on set that I had my legs out. So they didn't show it on camera, but the judges were, you know, were definitely making jokes about me having my legs out. Nothing negative, but, you know.
Somebody said, Carlton, would you ever teach classes with florals and event designs?
I've thought about it, but I think I've had that discussion with you in regards to, like, you know, I think I'm still trying to figure things out on my end, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm at the level to actually teach yet, but hey, maybe I am.
How do you feel about the expertise levels of the carpenters and assistants?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna see if you're gonna answer this honestly.
So I will say there were some skilled ones, and then there were some, you know, I think everybody was good, but I don't think everybody was ready for how fast they had to churn some of these things out. Now, I think I came in, you know, with a different mindset because I come from the film world and I'm always working with carpenters. And, you know, when they're able to crank things out in like literally 2 seconds, that's what they do all day, every day. So I came in asking for carpenters. I was like, is there going to be a welder on site? You know, I was like, is there a CNC machine? And they're like, whoa, none of that's here. So I had to, you know, adjust my design.
But he was complaining
to the carpenter skill set.
He was complaining about one of the carpenters. I don't know who it was, but he was just like, oh my God, I got stuck with the slow one. And
yeah.
They all said that this particular person was slow.
Yes, there was one.
And then you said it was somebody that she would be on break.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. We'll talk about that later.
All right, so how much time given to design a table setting?
On this actual show?
Mm-hmm.
It depends on, like I said earlier, it depends on the actual challenge. So for this first one, I think it was 10 hours. I think it was either between 8 to 10 hours that we had to do that tablescape. And keep in mind that includes drawing and designing, talking to the lighting designer, shopping, and then even going down and talking with the carpenters and explaining our design. Like all of that was included in that time.
Is there anything that you'd like to improve about yourself or your work after this experience?
I mean, I feel like I'm always trying to constantly improve myself.
But was there anything that you took from that where you're like, oh yeah, I need to really brush up on that?
Not necessarily something I need to brush up on. There is something that I would like to answer. So I have a really good example, but I can't really talk about it now. Of a situation that did happen that was a huge learning lesson for me. But time management, no, that I can say that probably is one of the biggest takeaways is time management. Learning that you have 10 hours and what can you actually pull off in 10 hours. So that part for me was a little difficult.
I'm laughing at the comments. Somebody said, do you think if you had gone with CeCe's original design for the challenge, it would have resulted in a better outcome?
I talked about that a little bit last night too.
But that was on Patreon, so they didn't.
Right. No, I'm just saying. For sure. I never claim that my ideas are always the best or the way to go. But that was me. My design was me trying to figure out, what they were looking for on the show because none of us really knew. So when CeCe had mentioned doing, a big table and a small table, I'm like, that's very literal. And I was like, I'm not a person who likes to be that literal when designing. I like when things are a little bit more conceptual, a little bit more abstract. So that's kind of what I was going for. But then it kind of bit me in the ass because, lo and behold, what they were actually looking for was something very literal. So that was one of the biggest lessons I learned on episode 1 is, okay, create designs that are apparent. So when, the judges and even when the party goers walk up, they know exactly what it is and they don't have to try to piece things together and figure it out. So,
Wendy, I've been seeing your comments about your candles. I just screenshot it and sent it over to Sydney. So, Wendy Dowdle. Let me know if he emails you or something like that. I did ask him about different candle orders, and he was saying that they stuck on a ship. The same thing with furniture, like a lot of this stuff. So, but just email him. You can copy me on it if you'd like, and I can try to help you get your candles. Let me see. Aletha said, you said earlier that you almost got yourself in trouble. Something, but you didn't finish your thought. You know what she's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She said, I don't know what she was asking right there. What's the name of the show? It's called Table Wars.
Table Wars, HGTV in Discovery Plus.
What exactly is your dream career?
My dream career, that's, I'm always open and it's always changing, but I really at heart, I think I want to get into designing high fashion runways.
He wants to do Fashion Week in Paris and New York.
Right. So not the actual clothing lines, but the actual sets.
The set that they.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I could get into that market, that would be a dream come true.
Tiffany Henderson said, "I caught that hopeless romantic line in Carlton in the show."
What can I say? It was a dinner for two.
Oh, this is a good question. Blue335. He said, Carlton, do you like these lives? I'm sorry, do you feel like doing these lives allow you to feel confident on camera?
For sure. I definitely have told Craig, as I've jumped on here with him, that especially when we were doing the Honest Hour, because I think that's the first time I had feel like I had to become some kind of personality and be a little bit more interactive with you guys. So I definitely think that helped gain courage going on to the show, especially sitting doing one-on-one interviews or what we say OTFs with the producers. So that part, I think if I didn't do lives, I would have been a little bit nervous and underprepared if going into it for that reason. But so yes.
Did you feel like the token black person on the show?
Did I feel like the token? I don't think I necessarily felt like the token. I definitely noticed I was the only black person. So, in the back of my head, I was like, well, if anything, don't be the first to go home. Because if I go home, then, who's representing us?
Well, that was an Afro-Latina.
Right. There was.
Yes.
There was, for sure.
Oh, go ahead.
But yeah. And but when I saw that, that was definitely an incentive for me to, give it my all.
He definitely told me that he was the only black man on there. I said, well, you better stand up for black people. I said, don't be shrinking. You stand in your blackness, and I was giving all of that through the phone. You finished answering that?
Yeah.
So somebody said, do you think that your love for each other will withstand your career moves as you both climb the ladder more? So because of time away from each other.
We have these conversations all the time, and I believe so. And I think we always said that we just have to be very conscious of making time for each other. And that's something I think we are definitely really good at. Even when I was in LA working for, I don't know, was it 4 or 5 months or something like that?
It wasn't that long.
It was like 4 months.
It was like 3.
It didn't seem like that because Christmas. But, we definitely make sure we like FaceTime each other. Or like if I'm in the car driving from location to location, I'll call him. We're on the phone. We're talking, just checking in. So I think we've definitely gotten a good rhythm of handling that. Now, I haven't necessarily handled the situation where he's gone yet. It's been more so me.
Because he definitely trying to come to DC on December 3rd. Get your tickets.
But that's only for 2 days, though, too. But
so then stay here.
Okay, I'll stay here.
Okay.
Save my money.
Okay, so Michonne says, is there any design? Oh, well, let me say this for that last question. One of the things that, because like you said, we do talk about that. One of the things that I've said, though, is it's important that we don't have long gaps in between when we see each other. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I feel like long gaps would be, I feel like it's more than a month. Mm-hmm. Depending on where it is, I would say 2 weeks, but a month is enough. But even like when he was working in LA, I came out there 3 times?
I think twice. The first time we went to San Francisco.
And then the second time, right. And then you came home for Christmas. So we saw each other 3 times while he was working out there. Mm-hmm. So, but then New York, he was trying to get me to come to New York. And I was going to go, but remember, this was earlier in the year. So COVID was really, really thick. And everything was closed up. And
it didn't make sense.
He had even asked the producers if I could come. But they were like, well, if he's going to stay in the hotel room and never leave out, I said, they got to be out of their mind.
Right.
So I was like, well, no, I'm not going to come. So I didn't go.
And it didn't make sense. It was White Plains. There was nothing to do.
White Plains.
So.
Let me see. Is there any design ideas from the others that you would incorporate in your aesthetic? That was a good question. That was
in my like aesthetic, like outside of the show,
like for like Genevieve, or did you see anybody's design aesthetic that you like? Oh, I like that. I'm gonna start using that idea. Or
no, not necessarily. I mean, I admire it, but I'm also one to not try to replicate. But I don't think that's what they really meant in that question.
That is what they meant.
Oh, well, no, not to replicate.
She said, is there any design ideas from others that you would incorporate in your aesthetic?
No, not necessarily. I think the one thing I did learn or got inspired.
The one thing I can do is read and comprehend. Go ahead.
But I definitely was inspired by the path that Wilfredo and Rachel took, making their table very literal and thinking outside the box. It was outside the box, but it was very literal. And so that was a lesson learned for me. I was like, oh, that's what they're looking for. That's what they're impressed by. I can do that. So we'll see what I can do next week.
So there were no techniques that you learned from other designers?
Techniques? No. There are no other techniques.
Okay. Demetria said, Carlton, we love the show.
Someone said White Plains is boring for color folks.
Basically. Let me see. Mantra said, this goes back to one of the things somebody said. Mantra said Carlton had grown on YouTube since him and Craig got together. And you guys would say that too. They would say that in the comments. They'd be like, oh, he's really getting comfortable. He's warming up to the camera, da-da-da. So I used to tell him that because he used to be worried about the confessionals on this show. And I said, but it's just like when we do the lives. And so I think it was practice. It was practice. Let me see. Would you two ever feel? Oh, I just started reading it. Would you two ever feel comfortable doing a reality show together? You can tell them what I said.
Well,
did you see that look? Oh,
I think we would be. And I only gave him that look was because when he was doing the WeTV show with Madison, it kind of came up where they wanted me to be on it, but he was very hesitant about it. But I think that's also because he really wasn't controlling that environment. And so he didn't know how our relationship would have been spun, I think. So, but in regards to like,
it was too new.
Right.
We were too new. And I was just like, Now, I used to tell him, like, I'd be open to a particular type of reality show. Like, if it was Black Love, you guys know I love Black Love. Because with Black Love, we would talk about the good and the bad. You know what I'm saying? To give people the real. Because I don't want people to ever think that we're perfect or we get it right all the time. Because I tell you guys all the time, relationships are the place that we go to learn and grow. And so we're always learning, we're always growing. And so when we're growing, when we're in those growth spaces, that's when there's friction. When we're in those growth spaces. And sometimes we'll need a day to kind of step back. We don't usually let it go longer than a day, though. Like if we really pissed off with the other person, we don't let it go longer than a day.
24 hours.
And it just has worked out that way. We don't have like this rule where we're like, oh, we got to have a day. It's just always worked out that way. And we made it. We noticed that and we acknowledged that. And we were like, oh, you know what? We've never gone longer than a day. And so now that's just kind of the thing. But I just feel like if it goes too long, and I'm not saying you got to have that in your relationship. It ain't got to be a day for you guys. But I just think that you have to have some sort of a time frame, because if it goes too long, then the problem metastasizes. It spreads and it becomes this issue plus this one and then that one. And you know what I mean? So for me, if we were doing like a Black Love, absolutely, all day long.
Or something that kind of exposed our journey and helped inspire and others. Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead. Were you finished saying?
I don't remember now.
Donnell Holt said, let me tell you something, Carlton. You are the shit with these designs. If I ever get one of these trades to marry me, I'll have to call you. And then Demetrius said, if you were sent home, I'm not watching no more. Let me see. Who else? Avonda said, Carlton, when you spoke, you made every Black person proud.
Thank you.
Kimberly Keaton says, do you and Carlton just wake up looking like whole snacks every day? It's funny you said that, because before we got on the live, he was like, I look a hot man.
Right. Because I thought I was about to jump in the shower.
And I said,
it's supposed to be at 9:30.
I said, because I originally was going to do it for 9:30.
Right, but then he didn't let me know the time change.
I had originally said to him 9:30, but then I was just like, well, because I had just come from the gym and I thought I was going to need more time. But I was like, no, we can do 9:10. That's fine. I see your comment, Wendy Dowdle. I see it. Let me see. Just as long as he come to Houston. Monique said, just as long as he come to Houston. When we do the Gay Like Me in Houston. Tiptoe through the turnips. Said, Craig is that life partner who's all in and will be like, go get him, babe. And don't let me have to fly out there if they try us. Let me see. Cherie said, I've never seen a design that Carlton has done that I didn't like. Gifted designer, very elegant. My speed. Carlton. Lily says, Carlton, have you been really good for Craig? Wait. She says, Carlton, you have been really good for Craig. He has a car and home now.
What Beyonce say? Let me upgrade you.
What that got to do with him, Lily?
I inspire many people, I've been told.
Carlton, do you think the edit was fair on the amount of effort you put into the table for episode 1? Now, let's see if you can answer this, because if you don't, I'm going to fill it in.
One more time, read the question.
Do you think the edit was fair for the amount of work that you put in?
I will say, well, no. The short answer is no. But, they only had an hour and a half, and there's 8 of us, and there was 2 challenges. So, you know, I don't think they could show everything. I mean, there's no way they could show everything.
So you don't want to tell the other part?
What other part?
About when you were working on the table and she was...
Oh, you're talking about when I was like outside? Oh, they showed like a little bit of that when she came outside.
No, you were working on the table and she was taking breaks or something. She was talking and then she had fainted or something. They didn't show that.
I don't know if I want to touch on too much on that. But there was a lot of things that were going on behind the camera that I don't think were necessarily appropriate to HGTV. But in regards, but that wasn't the question. The question was, did they show?
Do you think the edit was fair on the amount of effort you put into the table? You were saying yesterday that there was a lot of effort that you were working on the table a lot of the time by yourself because she was over here doing this. There was a moment where she fainted. Right. They called the medics and all this other stuff.
Yeah, there's that part of it. But I will just say no, just because, like I said, they only can show but so much on camera. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Is there any other current HGTV show that you would like to go on?
No, not at the moment. Because to be honest, this is actually a very unique show for HGTV.
This is the first season.
Right, it's first season, but it's a very unique show in regards to its content. You know, when you think of HGTV, it has to do with houses. It's either a remodel, a flip, you know, DIYs and stuff like that. And so
do it yourself.
Yeah. You don't think they know what that means?
Some people may not know what that is. You can't assume everybody knows. Some DIY is do it yourself. I know some people know, but remember we got a GED section too.
Oh, okay.
I'm just playing. But no, so we don't all know everything. Okay, so tell them your website because somebody's asking that.
Oh,
your Instagram.
My Instagram is at Carlton Lee Studios, and the website is the same, www.carltonleestudios.com.
Do the cast members who get dismissed still stay in the hotel?
No, they go home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the only time they'll stay is if they, you know, if there's like still like some interviews that need to be done. But no, once you got eliminated, you do the walk of shame, final words, and then you go back home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tiptoe through the turnip said, "Don't do the reality show. Y'all just share y'all stuff with us." Let me see. Are there any more? Oh, are there any more tickets left for DC? I made Tiptoe down there from Jersey. Chalk Ted Bear, get on over there. They eating them tickets up. I'm telling you, get on over there, Chalk Teddy Bear. I haven't looked today or yesterday, but I've been getting the emails where people are purchasing tickets. So if you are coming to DC, Jenny Boone, and anybody else that may be coming from out of town, get your tickets. The link is down here. It's on Eventbrite. Just if you can't find the link, but just go to eventbrite.com and type in Gay Like Me Conversations. Some people didn't know what... Is there anybody in here, honestly, who did not know what DIY was? Y'all a mess.
I try to stand up for y'all.
Carlton and Craig, what about competition reality shows like Amazing Race? We've talked about that.
Oh my God. That would be a reality show. With this one, that would be a reality show on its own.
Oh my God. We don't watch it religiously, but if it's on, I will watch it. Like I like Amazing Race. My mother loves Amazing Race. Carlton, how are you going to handle all this newfound fame? Well, let me tell you, today he was like, oh my God, I'm getting all these messages. Is this how it starts? Some white guy, was it a white guy?
Yeah.
Some white guy DM'd him talking about how handsome he was and he loved all his designs. And
you gonna be able to handle all that?
Let me explain something. When you know your name, when you know your motherfucking name. Go ahead. What you want to say about that?
Can I? Well,
how are you gonna handle all this newfound fame?
To be honest, I'm not really thinking much of it because I keep telling Craig, like, I'm not. If any worst case scenario, I'm not expecting much from this. That's just how I prepare my mind, and that's how I think. But I don't know. I really don't know. We'll see what happens, and I'm really good at adjusting and adapting, so I don't think it'll be too big of a stress on me.
Carlton, you seem so calm and patient. Is there a time when frustration would show if things are going wrong and the time is running out during one of the episodes?
You'll just have to keep watching.
He can't talk about future episodes.
But I mean, I can say like overall, I handle stress pretty well. But yeah, keep watching. You'll find out.
Will was at the premiere watch party yesterday. He and Sydney, they're all over on the Patreon. Donnell, you're on Patreon. You haven't looked at the Patreon yet? I posted them today. I did 2 videos. Let me see. Ernestine said, I'm only watching for Carlton. I have my family watching as well.
Well, thank you.
Ivana said, I'm not watching if Carlton is not there either. You're a mess.
You gotta make it to the end.
Yes. Edits are never fair. Donnell said that. Good point. I love you, Craig. I just think you were good together. Thank you, Lillian. No, that says Lily. Sorry, not Lillian. Let me see. I'm scrolling through to see if there are more questions. Les said, Craig acting like we all idiots. I'm not acting like we all idiots. I talk to you all as if everybody doesn't know, because like you just don't know who knows what. Jenny Boom says she can't come to DC. D Ness said he did not know what DIY was.
Someone said they need the part 2 of the Patreon. Is there a part 2?
It is 2 parts over there.
Oh.
I broke it up in 2. It was kind of long. Let me see. Demetria said, I love the Patreon. Let me see. Carlton, would you want to have a You have really good questions, Blue 335. Carlton, would you want to have a PBS style design show like the Katie Brown workshop? Have you ever heard of that?
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of it either.
But you know,
PBS would be like public broadcasting, though.
Right. But I definitely wouldn't mind an opportunity to do some kind of design, an informative design show. I think that would be great. I would definitely love to do something like that. So hopefully this opens up those kind of doors, or even just like guest appearing on other design shows. That I think also would be great, because as we know, I'm very opinionated.
C8701 said he was at the theater asking about endorsements, but cooking imaginary turkeys. Girl, bye. You know what? Y'all are too much. I was trying to, Avonda said I was waiting for the Patreon last night, Craig. I was trying to get it done for you guys last night, but it was so long, and I was trying to download it, and I had to end up downloading part of it to my iPad, so it ran over to today. That's why I didn't get it uploaded until today. Carolyn Kellum says, Carlton, great job. You do beautiful, amazing work. You and Craig are a loving, down-to-earth real couple. Love from St. Louis. I knew that was my girl over there in St. Louis. I think she's from like Florissant, Missouri. What's up, Angie B? I think that was the last question that was in here. If you guys,
well, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for all of you that tuned in and watched. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for rooting for me.
Pardon me.
So yeah, each week I'm gonna keep giving it my all. Hopefully I make it to the next round, and hopefully you guys keep watching.
Wendy's, Sydney just texted me back. He said he sent you a message. I don't know where that is. I just asked him. Where did he send you a message? Powerful. What was your question? I didn't see it. I don't see the message, Powerful. Can you type it down there again? Somebody said, is there an app I can watch on? Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus.
Yep.
Sharon said, we love and support you, Carlton.
Thank you, Sharon.
Chalk Ted Bed said, we will definitely keep watching. I love it already. I love shows like this, really. Like, I love HGTV. So, like, even if I didn't know him, and if you know what I'm saying, I would have been watching this show.
Right. And the thing is, I think it's just such a unique concept of a show. And, because there's no other show where, you're designing at this caliber, I don't think. Like, we're so used to the fashion show, you know, like the
Like
Project
Project Runway.
Runways, you know the result of that is it's a garment of clothing. But with this, it's one, some people don't even know what tablescaping is. And then those who kind of know what tablescaping is probably haven't even imagined that it could be at this level. So this definitely will pull in like the DIYers. It's going to pull in the event planners and the event designers of the world all into one show. And hopefully inspire other people to do things like at their house. So if you don't know, actually, if you follow HGTV on Instagram, the winning table of each week, they actually post a low budget version, inspired by the winning table. Yeah, I would say the affordable version. So you know, when you're having your own kind of event or party, you know, you can figure out ways to, you know, design your table. So I think that's really cool. So it's definitely going to pull in a lot of different kinds of people. So I'm really excited to see what happens as each episode airs and where it'll go. Hopefully there'll be a season 2.
When y'all get married?
Oh, the phone time. When are we getting married? I guess you have to just keep watching as well. Stay tuned.
Carlton, is your calmness innate or was it learned?
I think I've always been calm. I mean, as long as I can remember. You know, as a kid, I think I was a little bit rowdy, but I think I've just been always cool, calm, and collected for the most part.
Michael Johnson said, "You're amazing on TV. Hope this opens doors for you." Sean Yarborough says, "So when?"
To be honest, I think what I can share is like I think going into it, one of my biggest fears was being too boring on camera, because I do know that I'm kind of very chilled and very monotone at times. And I think you told me, yeah, you mentioned I think we had this conversation before I left. I was like, I'm a little nervous of, you know, being too calm, and then, you know, not having a certain personality for the cameras. And, you know, it's no shade or disrespect, but like I, you know, could never naturally pull off, you know, a personality like Cece's, for instance, or even like Yaz. You know, she's very fun and bubbly.
Even the white guy.
Yeah, Brian. Yeah, like they all have big personalities, and I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to compete with that. But at the end of the day, I think I stayed true to myself, and I think it resonated, and I think it came across fine. So let me know if it didn't, but I think it did. I think it did fine.
Oh. It was just a question right here. Will you design sets for gay like conversations eventually?
If they have the budget.
Oh, Mantra said I had never heard of tablescaping before.
Right. I don't think a lot of people
did. A lot of people didn't.
No.
That's why I sometimes will explain stuff, because you don't know what people know. You know, if you're not in that area, if you're not in that arena, you know what I'm saying? If you're not in that world, you know. But yeah, that's what it's called when you're designing tables and stuff for events.
Yeah, and there's actual like professional competitions in tablescaping, not necessarily to this caliber of what we're doing. Ours is the very fantasy version of tablescaping, but yeah, it's an actual thing.
Jenny Boom said, "Now I'm going to be critiquing table designs at events now." Naturally,
checking out those forks in the line.
Right, but you know what? What's the white girl's name? I think she had blonde hair.
Rachel.
She made a really good point, and I remember saying when she said,
"You don't notice it.
You may not notice when something is out of place on the table, but when it is out of place, you know that something's missing." She said, "You may not know how to do it, and all that."
No, she said you may not pay attention.
You may not
to
pay
the
attention
things
to
on the table,
right?
But you would notice.
But you would notice it if it was wrong, if it was missing, and I thought that was a really good point.
She also has a great personality. She's actually, if a lot of you don't know, Rachel, she is one of the planners from the Real Housewives of, is it Dallas? Is there Real Housewives of Dallas? Isn't there one in Texas?
I don't know. I don't watch any of those Real Housewives.
But she was one of the event planners from there, so she's very well versed on, you know, being a personality and being on TV. But yeah,
is this what Preston Bailey is known for?
I don't think he's necessarily known for tablescaping
I think
per
it's
se.
events.
It's event design and fabrication in its entirety, not just specifically tablescaping. That tablescaping is included in that, but it's not like necessarily solely what he does.
Was there ever a time that you felt like you were unqualified for the show?
I think going into it,
I was wondering if you were gonna remember that.
I think going into it, because before I knew who the other cast members were, I didn't know what I was up against. I was like, if these people are like really like amazing florists and designers, I'm like, I'm still kind of fairly new to the game, so I was like, hopefully I can compete and live up to the show's expectations. But what I really loved once I met everyone is that everyone came from a diversified background. So myself coming from the movie industry, being a set designer. Rachel was a planner. Now she's not a designer per se.
And they said yes, it was Dallas.
She's not a designer per se, but she is a planner, so she's still in that world. But it was a different take for her because now she was the one who's hands-on with the actual design. Brian designed theme parks. Then you had Stephanie. Stephanie designs parade floats. So we're all designers in our own rights, but we all do different things. So I think it was great because we all are coming with different perspectives on what tablescaping is. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I think I can say this is I think the people who did not really come from tablescaping seem to have a stronger hand in the competition, I would say. Mm-hmm. That was just my perspective.
Carlton, do you have a strong opinion when you are a part of a team? You don't appear to be strong-headed. You seem like a natural team player. You were just sensitive about your ish.
I want to say that I'm a team player. I really do. Others may say otherwise watching episode 1, but I think that was a unique case because there was a lot of pressure and it was the first episode. Like, I don't know this person. I really don't know her taste. So I think it was very hard for me to fully trust a stranger. Mm-hmm. But I did my best and but as you saw, it didn't work in my favor though.
Kidan said, I feel like you were chosen, you're ready. And then Kidan said, I'm glad you did this. Carlton, always challenge yourself and step out of your comfort zone. Carlton is so humble, you can't help but love him. And then there was something else in here I was going to read. I can't find it now. I think that was it. I don't see anything else. Oh, this is what I was going to say. Cherie Green said, Preston Bailey is a good designer, legendary. He did a, you want to tell him about
that? Sure. I actually did long ago when I decided I wanted to get into the event world. I knew nothing about flowers. I knew if I was going to take the journey or this career path that I was going to have to learn how to do flowers at some point. And or I could always hire, but I'm the type of person, I'm always hands-on. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to learn it. So I know every aspect of the business. So I actually went up to New York. He's New York based. And I did his, I think it was like 3 or 4 day workshop. And then that's where we met. And, he actually was really impressed with me. He, because at the time there was this little challenge we had to do and we had to present it. And that's when I started kind of getting into the whole sketching on the iPad. And I did like a live sketch of our design and he was really impressed with that. And he actually was like, would you be interested in coming and actually talking at one of my workshops? It never really happened, but we definitely communicate here and there. Like last year, he hit me up. Right. He hit me up to project manage one of his events here in Atlanta. That fell through. I think probably due to COVID. Yeah. But so yeah, we definitely have some a little bit of a rapport with each other. So hopefully one day I can help him with some of his events.
Carlton, which one of the guys was looking at you that way?
Where on the show? Mm-hmm. Nobody.
Was the show scripted?
And all the guys on the show, we all had partners, and I think the other 2 are actually married, if I can recall. So
She said it was several people in our community on that show. Was the show scripted at all?
No, the show was not scripted whatsoever.
All right, well,
we were guided at times, but it was not scripted. You know, you have producers behind the cameras asking questions and kind of leading you to, you know, where they want you to go. And it's more so just trying to, you know, because sometimes as we're designing, we're in our heads thinking of all these things, but, you know, they want us to actually verbalize what we're doing so it makes sense to you guys. So there was a lot of that. And that sometimes got frustrating because, you know, when you're in the thick of it, trying to focus and you're like, they want you to stop what you're doing and talk to the camera. And it's like, I don't have time for this. There's 10 seconds on the clock, but you know, you got to remember this is a TV show as well.
Right. So as he was doing certain things, they'd be like, so what are you working on, Carlton? Like, what?
And then there were so many times I was like, leave me the fuck alone.
He would tell me, no, one time you did cuss somebody out. He would tell me about it. But anyway, Lisa says, well, Lois says, new opportunities will open up for you. Then Lisa Thomas says, for you and Craig, are relatives coming out the woodwork now? Listen, there were people on my dad's. For me. Yeah, for me. On my dad's side, they might be watching. A couple of people that I had to ask my dad, like, who is this? Like, I screenshot pictures and was like, who is this? Because they got my last name. Right. And he was like, I don't know who that is. That's what my dad was saying. So, like, there have been people that have messaged, and then depending on if certain things are posted on social media, they'll be in the comments saying, hey, cuz, or right. Stuff like that. But I don't really answer it.
No, I mean, I'm pretty well. I know a majority of my family, like even extended cousins for the most part. But I don't foresee any family members popping out of nowhere. I mean, I have a pretty big family, but they're all involved and they're all supportive and all of that good stuff. So
Tiptoe Through the Turnip said that's why I asked about Uncle Preston Bailey. He said because he or she, I don't know if that's a guy or girl, said he gonna have to hang up his design cape one day. Oh. Kamal says, what caused the judges to come over to your table during the team competition?
Oh, I mean, they just do their routinely rounds. That's just protocol. Where they'll come in and then they'll go to each of our tables and just figure out, you know, what we're doing.
Carlton, did your dad watch?
Yeah, my dad's side of the family actually threw a whole watch party at a venue last night. My stepmother made this amazing cake that had the picture of all the contestants and said Table Wars. So all the family went. They had like 25, 30 people there watching in Virginia. So, yeah.
All right. Well, I think that maybe. Tiptoe Through the Turnips. That's a woman. Oh, okay, niece. Hey, niece. Okay, I think that was the last question. Well, listen, thank you guys. And yes, we will do this. You guys think we should do it on Sunday after the show, or should we do it on Monday at 9 p.m.?
Yeah, probably 9 to 9:30. I'd say.
On Sunday? Sunday or Monday?
I'd rather Sunday while it's fresh.
I think Sunday. Oh, they all saying Monday.
Oh, y'all not going to be up? That's too late for you guys?
One person said after the show, but everybody else is saying Monday. I was going to do the restaurant reviews today, but then we figured we should talk about this. So I'll probably do the restaurant reviews. Well, I can do the restaurant reviews tomorrow because we're going to see Lettucey tomorrow. So it'll be this week, though. Yeah, most of the people. Oh, yeah, it looked like most of the people saying Monday.
But if we did it Sunday, y'all still tune in, I bet.
Are all the shows 90 minutes? No, right?
No.
It was just that
this
first
was the
one.
premiere episode, so and this one was just the 90 minutes.
They saying people got to work now.
I don't believe that. Because
that's a good point. Reese De La Ghetto said Monday gives people more time to watch. That's true.
Very true.
So, okay, well, maybe we'll do it on Mondays.
But also keep in mind, you can stream it, I think, starting Friday night.
On Discovery Plus.
On Discovery Plus.
So, like this coming Sunday show, you probably be able to watch it Friday night.
I think it's Friday night or Saturday. Saturday morning, I think.
Right.
Friday to Saturday.
But all right, listen. Don't forget to sign up for Paid for Your Say. It's scrolling across the bottom. It's www.paidforyoursay.com. I've been posting like real testimonials from people that have been sending us messages about the money that they've been making from it. It is definitely a sure thing. Carlton's mother signed up. I'm signed up for that little extra cash for whatever it is you want to do, vacation, retirement. You might need a little petty cash. But at any rate, don't forget to get your goalie gummies.
Don't forget right here. Thank you for your love and support.
I'm gonna need 10% of whatever come through there.
This has been really fun. Aren't you profiting off of me?
How? This benefiting you.
This is on your.
This benefiting you, Cletus. Stacey Michelle said, "I'm gonna study for $500 right now." I can't take Stacey Michelle. Do you hear me? I should have. Listen. I should have signed an agreement with Stacey Michelle. Jenny Boom said, "Check your Cash App." Oh, I was about to say something publicly. I can't say that on here. Jenny, I'm gonna tell her how you looked out for us recently. But he know who you are, but I'm gonna make sure he remembers. But anyway, listen, you guys have an amazing night. Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue. Don't forget your oil pulling. Don't forget your oil pulling, because you know.
So I have a couple thank yous. Thank you, Yolanda. Yolanda's always sending. So thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony. Jennifer Griffin, thank you. Tony, thank you. And Jamal, thank you. You guys are the best.
Was it Jamal or Kamal?
Jamal.
Oh, it's Jamal. Because there's a Kamal in here. But yeah, don't forget your oil pulling. Don't forget to say your prayers. Be grateful for something.
Amen.
Something. Don't forget to do your grateful journal, your gratitude journal. I'm still doing mine. We're gonna do our little gratitude little thing on the 1st of January. You know, we're gonna read over all of the things that we did for the previous year that we were grateful for. But at any rate, listen, I will talk to you guys soon. See you guys December 3rd in DC at the first live Gay Like Me conversation. We're gonna be talking about bisexuality. So we want some of our straight people to come out as well, because we want you guys to participate in the conversation. Derek and I are looking for one bisexual guy and a bisexual female.
I'm your guy.
Bisexual.
Mm-hmm. That's what I told my mother when I came out.
A lot of the gays be saying that they're bisexual because you don't want to just say that you're gay. You know, it's a little more cliche. It's a little more involved to say that you're bisexual.
Thank you, Barbara.
Some of the gays think that they're bisexual because on your trajectory to being
a fag.
Good night.